Hey guys, welcome to Deborah's Tutorials. Today I wanted to come on and do a video tutorial, show you guys how I sublimate on the glass photo blocks. I did a couple and posted them on Facebook, and a lot of people have been asking me if there's a tutorial. I did do a tutorial about a year ago and I posted it down below, but I'm going to do an updated one. On this one, we're going to try to sublimate it 3 ways. I'm going to do it the regular way with the clamshell heat press. And then I'm going to do the second one using the Cricut EasyPress. And the next one, we're going to try to see how it'll come out if I do it in the air fryer. All right. So first, I want to start off by going to my workspace. And here I'm going to be doing a couple of 3 blocks. I want to do one with Ralph Tresvant because I have a couple of people asking about a block for Ralph Tresvant, all them new edition vans. This is my boo, Ronnie. I'm going to do one for Ronnie, and then this is the group. I design in a program that is called Vinyl Master. Vinyl Master I got with my US cutter, big vinyl plotter cutting machine. I have a Cricut, but I wanted something bigger, so I went with a plotter, and this program came with it. Of course, it came with the standard regular just cut version. I did upgrade it to the designer version, so I have a lot of features in here. It's almost like a Photoshop. The only thing I don't do from this program is print. I just save my images as a PNG, and then I export them and upload them in Photoshop and print. Yes, I pay for Photoshop just to print because my colors are amazing. In Photoshop, I can manage my colors. So as you can see, I have 3 photos. The size of the block, you actually will go to JP Plus. To purchase the blocks.com. And this is where I purchased the blocks from. I am looking into ordering some more from Alibaba. They do have them on Alibaba, and you can order them, and they'll be a little cheaper, much cheaper, put it that way. But this right here is the block. It's called the glass photo block. The size is 5.13 inches by 3.57 inches. So I sized my image because I want a little overlap. I sized it, since I'm doing this one vertically instead of horizontally, I sized it the width as 3.550, and I sized the height at 5.150. That way I'm going to get a little overlap to make sure the block is covered from one end to the other. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to send this to my printer. I'm going to print all of these. All of these should fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So what I'm going to do is put them together like that. And I'm going to group them. I'm now going to export them. So I go to File, Export, and I'm going to export as a PNG file. So as you can see, I have a lot of files on here. I'm going to my new edition folder right here, and I'm going to label this multi-photo block 2 because I already have one multi-photo block. So right here is asking me how I want to save it in the DPIs. Normal DPIs for high resolution, if you want to get the best quality, is anything over 300. I like to always bump mine up a little bit to 450, give me more pixels. I'm now going to go to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, what I do is, I'm going to just move this over a little bit to my second screen, and I'm going to drag and drop it into Photoshop. When I drag and drop it into Photoshop, it doesn't change the size. Whatever size I created it here in Vinyl Master is the size that it's going to be when I dragged and dropped it into Photoshop. So now that it's in Photoshop, I'm actually going to use my new printer. I just got a new printer in the other day, 2 days ago, and I upgraded from, well, I'm not going to say I upgraded. Well, I did upgrade my 4700. I had an Epson 4700 as a backup printer. I do have the Epson 15000, which I mainly use, but I did have some issues with that printer when I first got it. So I decided I always need to have a backup. So I purchased the 4700 as a backup, but for some reason, even using the same settings, when I first got it, it was printing fine. Now it's starting to have like a reddish tint to all my prints. Doesn't matter what settings I use, and so I put that one to kicked that one to the curb, and I upgraded to the Epson SureColor F100. I'm sorry. So with this, the reason why I print strictly from Photoshop is because I can manage my colors on my printer. I use Cosmos ink and Crafting Bestie's paper. So I want to print from Photoshop so I can manage and use the the Cosmos ink color profile. Sorry, guys. But before I can print, I need to make sure that the color management on the F100 is turned off. So I'm going to my printer settings, and I've already done it, but I just want to show you just in case. I'm going to select glass blocks. I've already preset this. So I save this, so anytime I want to print glass blocks, I just click this button, and then I go to more options. Well, first, the paper type for the F100, there's only 2 paper types. There's no more premium presentation matte, all of that good stuff. You either have rigid or you're going to have textile. If you're printing on glass, anything besides fabrics or whatever, you're going to print using the rigid. Of course, I want my quality to be high, and I don't necessarily need the print preview. So then I click more options, and when printing on the photo blocks, you do not mirror your image. So that's why I do not have mirror image checked, because you do not mirror. And then I go to, for color correction, I go to custom, and then I click advanced. Since I'm printing from Photoshop, Photoshop is going to manage all the colors. The printer is not going to manage any of the colors, so I'm going to select no color management. If you do not do this, your Photoshop and your printer are going to be trying to override each other, and your colors are going to be off. So you have to make sure that you turn off the color management on your printer. So I have that turned off. Everything looks okay. I'm printing on 8.5 by 11 paper. I click OK, and then I'm going to change the orientation to vertical. So this is how it's going to fit in there. And I'm then going to send it to the printer. So the F1 starting to print. And that's my 15,000. That's the new SureColor F170. And there's my poor little 4700 over there that's getting neglected. So we're going to wait for that to print. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare my blocks. So when you get the blocks, they come in the little box. And when you open them up, there's your glass block. So I'm just going to clean off the back, wipe it with my microfiber rag. I'm going to spray just a little bit of alcohol on there, and I'm going to just clean it off. Make sure it's clean. And I want to make sure that it is completely dry. Since I'm doing 3, alright, so we're going to do 3. And just waiting on that to finish printing. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Cricut EasyPress. I already have my heat press and my air fryer oven in the garage heating up, warming up. The Cricut heat press, EasyPress, doesn't take that long to heat up, so I'm getting ready to turn it on now. And the Cricut EasyPress I actually set to 375. The others, the heat press outside and the oven, I have set to 365. It's almost finished. And the SureColor F170, actually, even on slow with bidirectional turned off, it prints much faster than that 15,000. But that 15,000 and the SureColor, to me, they actually print almost the same. So you can get you a 15,000. That's a good way to go. All right. So here's my print. All right. And I'm going to just step over to my cutting board and cut them. Hold on. Hold the line, guys. I'll be right there. I'm almost finished. Alright, so here's my prints. And I did leave just a little white around the edges. It's really not going to matter. That's Ralph. And that is the group. And as you notice, I did not mirror these images. So in my first video that I did, I had bought this adhesive spray from Convection, and I used the adhesive spray instead of taping the image down. But what I found with the adhesive spray, when you take it off, it left like a sticky film on the back of the glass blocks, and I didn't particularly care for that. So that's why I stopped using the spray. So I'm just going to tape the images. So I'm just going to lay it down. I'm just going to lay it down. And I'm just going to, you can see through the white backing. And so I'm just going to line it up. Make sure everybody is in there. I don't know if you can kind of see, you can kind of see through it. And so then I'm just going to flip it over now, and I'm going to tape it down. And I am going to tape all 4 sides. Now, if you notice on this one, when I cut it, it's not overlapping, but since the background of this picture is white, it's not going to matter because it's going to be white anyway. It's the ones that have color from edge to edge that you have to make sure that you kind of overlap a little bit. Alright, so I have this one taped. Now I'm going to do Ralph, and I'm doing this block vertically. So I'm lining it up and make sure I have it inside the print area. And it's in there. And so now I'm going to tape it down. And I am making sure that it's flat. Alright. And why you guys didn't tell me that I was taping it to the wrong side? Psh. I taped it to the, I put the image down on the glass side and not the side with the white on it. Psh. I must be tired. But I'm glad I realized that before I went out there. Wrong side, Deborah, wrong side. All right, so now let's try this again. All right. This one is kind of tight in there. I should have made it just a little bit, probably should have made it just a little bit wider, but I think that's gonna work. It's gonna be close. All right. Make sure I got the right side this time. White side down on the image. Now this one, because the background on his is so light, it's hard to see. Kind of hard to see it. But I got it. I got it, guys. All right. This bae right here, Ronnie, I can't mess his up. This is my boo. All right. So I have all three of them taped. Now we're going to go to the different presses. I'm going to pause it right quick, set up my other camera so I can take you guys with me. Alright guys, so I'm out here at my heat press. So I have my heat press. I'm in my garage. I have all this set up in my garage. I have this mug press that I don't use because I don't know how to work it. I have my Cricut mug press. I have my Gourmet and I have my Ninja. The Gourmet is probably a little mad at me right now because ever since I bought this, I rarely use that. Alright, so we're going to start with, I'm actually going to shrink wrap this one first. So, find me a piece of shrink wrap that I think will fit. So, I'm going to use this one. This is the one that I use. Well, let me see if it fits first. Hold on. So it fits in there. I'm just going to cut a little bit of it off. And then I'm going to get my heat gun. And shrink wrap it. And make sure it's nice and tight. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it, okay? Just making sure everything is nice and snug and tight. So that's one. This is the one with bay on it. So we're going to do bay on the press. Alright. So I'm going to take bay, put bay in the center of my press. I do have it set at 365, but it's reading 364, no big deal. And then I have it set at 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. Alright, so we are going to put this one in first. gonna put it with the print side up. And I have this one set at 365. Now I'm gonna hit this press. So I'm not gonna go inside and do the other one just yet with the Cricut EasyPress, because that one I'm gonna have to put some pressure on it, so I'm gonna have to hold it down. So I'll be back in about 4.5 minutes, you guys. Alright guys, time is getting close. I already turned on my fan. Everything I sublimate, when I take it out of the oven or the press, I put in front of this fan to let it cool off. And the block is looking good. Look at that. Look at that. Now let me take this one out. You can't see this one. And I'm going to just put it over there so it can cool off until I'm able to touch it. Now while these are cooling, I'm going to go inside and we're going to go ahead and sub the one with the Cricut EasyPress. I'll be back. So I did turn this on to let it heat up, but since it took so long and I was outside, it turned itself off. So we're going to turn it back on. And like I say, for this one I have set at 375. But it's showing 295 because that's the temp now. But that one is set at 375. And for the seconds, I have to hit this time. And we're going to bump it up to 300. Now this heats up fast. It's already at 365. I mean 335. Where am I going? I need 300 seconds. Alright, so that's 300 seconds and it's gonna set. The temperature has reached 375. So I have my Cricut press mat. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take it off of the stand and we're going to sit it on top and press the green button. On this one, I'm going to be applying pressure to it. That's the only thing about the Cricut press, you'll have to apply some pressure. So I'm going to keep applying some pressure to this and I'll be back in 5 minutes. It's counting down. Now the good thing about this is we can lift it up, and if it's not completely sublimated, then we can always put it back down and give it some more time. The only one I can't tell right now if it's completely sublimated is the one that shrink wrapped. So I have to wait till that one cools and then take the shrink wrap off and look at it, and if not, then I can put it back on the press. All right, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're gonna look and see what it did. Ooh, hot. It's hot, but it looks good, guys. So I'm going to go and take this outside and sit it with the rest by the fan. We'll be back. So we're back outside. I'm gonna put that right there. Sorry guys, I'm trying to set up my tripod. All right. So Ronnie's still a little warm. That one's a little cool. So I'm curious. I really want to look at that. Give me a few seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Let me go get my X-Acto knife. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this, see what it looks like. And no, my shrink wrap did not stick. Like I say, it depends on where you get your shrink wrap from as to whether or not it is going to stick. And as you can see right now, it didn't do anything. See right here? You can see through it. It didn't sublimate. So I don't know if that means it needs more time, but we're going to put it on the heat press because my heat press is still on. Alright, so it started to, but it didn't. So we're gonna move Ralph's over here to the heat press. And I didn't do it the last time, but I do usually put a piece of Teflon over it. As you can see, it didn't matter. So we're gonna press him for 5 minutes. Meantime, these are still cooling. And I'll be back in 5 minutes. The time is almost up. And look at Ralph. So the one that we did in the air fryer didn't work at first, so I ended up having to press it.
I don't know if more time would have helped it, because usually when I do glass, I usually do it for at least 8 to 10 to 12 minutes depending on the glass. But maybe I could have tried to leave it in there a little bit longer. I'll experiment. Like I say, that 5 minutes it was in there, it only did a portion of the side of it, so I don't know if it's going to be able to, I don't know if you're going to be able to sub it in the air fryer. But the Cricut EasyPress and the mug heat press works just fine. And like I said, I did 375 on the Cricut EasyPress, 365 on the heat press for 5 minutes. I'm gonna let these cool off, you guys, and then I'll show you guys the finished products. Now, Ronnie is cool to touch. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape and the paper. Now, sometimes the paper tends to stick a little bit. That's perfectly fine. It washes right off and does not leave any type of residue on the back. And Craft and Besties paper, look at that ink release. Alright, so I have a couple of little spots that has paper stuck, not many, and I'm just going to wash that off at the sink with hot water, well, warm water. And this is Ronnie. And that block will stand up like that. That one's still a little warm for me to be playing with my hands, so I'm gonna let that one cool some more. I'll show you guys the finished in a few. Okay, so while we're waiting on those other two to cool, like I said, all you have to do is wash it off. As you can see, it's just a little bit of sticking right there, a little bit stuck right there, and just a little bit on the bottom. So I'm gonna just come and run it under some warm water. And I'm gonna just rub the residue off. With my fingertips. Just giving it a little scratch with my nail. And a little bit right there. Completely gone now. There's no sticky residue, no nothing. So here's the final results. This is the one we put in the air fryer at first for 5 minutes. When I took it out, nothing subbed, just a little black around the edge. So I had to end up putting it on the heat press for 5 minutes. So needless to say,
I don't think that this one can be done in, these blocks can be done in the air fryer or convection oven. This is the one that was done with the Cricut EasyPress. Came out perfect. I set my EasyPress to 375, set the time for 300 seconds, and of course you have to apply a little pressure to it. I ain't gonna lie, I did cheat and let it go for about 40 seconds, 60 seconds or so, because my arm was getting tired. But it didn't affect it. And this is the one that was done in the heat press. Trying to get that glare off of there. This is the one that was done in the heat press. Cricut EasyPress. Tried to do him in the oven, but he didn't work. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment if you have any questions. You guys have a good day and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.